Okay, it's June the 15th, it's 10 a.m. and here's a large concentration of orbs in the trees, and it's a large one, and they're all over. That's a big spot. And all that brown parts right there, all those brown parts, it's just a lot of them. These are all high concentrations of organisms. I'm just going to leave it here. I sure like to make noises. These are all synthetic sounds. They're not real. Yeah, and they gotta move. They can't stand still for too long, because it takes much more energy to stand still than to move. So they gotta keep moving, otherwise they'll die. And I gotta figure a way of putting a stop to all that movement. That's what I want to do. I want to throw out their vibrations frequencies to the point where they don't know whether to move or whether they're moving or not moving. And that's the way to stop these things. And what they're doing now is collecting solar energy. They're going to pretend to be dead, but not for long. Look at that glowing cluster right there, and orbs all around it. See how they block it off? The branch moves right in and blocks it off because it's not a branch. The branch is really them. More of them. See how, watch the organisms, how they fiber out. Here's a good example of fibering. Okay, those are supposed to be leaves and foliage on trees and bushes, but look at the way they fiber out. Okay, here's a good example of fibering. I'm just going to leave it there so you can watch how they make fibers. Okay, these are supposed to be leaves. I'm going to go make a coffee, and we'll let you watch how they fiber out and how they coalesce together into blobs, and how they break apart, and the whole thing is right there. Their whole story is right there. That's the organism, how it can break into pieces and put itself back together, and the whole thing is just them. All those trees and everything is just them, and this is the way they fiber out and just spread. It's like cancer. That's exactly what this is like. It's like cancer, but cancer of our environment, and it's just spreading all over and killing everything it comes in contact with, and then it makes a hologram of it to replace it so that we don't notice it's gone. I'm gonna go make a coffee. Okay, I'm back. Okay, this will be an interesting video because this is an important part about the organism, how it fibers out and how it spreads and how it breaks into pieces and how it comes together. And the energy flowing through the whole organism and flowing over the organism. It just bathes in energy. And this organism is very hungry for energy. It just needs a lot of energy. And that's why it's consuming everything. Because if it stops having energy or supplying itself with energy, it will die. So it will stop at nothing to resupply itself with energy. And it's a constant thing. It can't stop. And don't forget, you're supposed to be looking at leaves. And this is what's happening. And this is what the leaves are right now. This is present tense, immediate time, right now. This is what the leaves are like today. It's like watching something under a microscope, except this is on a much larger scale. But it's the same type of cellular distribution, arrangement, and patterning by an organism that's very similar to cancer, how it grows and reproduces and spreads out and fibers itself to advance. It's like looking at cancer. There's those black things there. They're the form of the organism that's been around longest. Dark brown and black parts. And the organism cannot stand still very long. It has to move. If it stands still, it's going to be dead. So it has to keep moving. It can only stand still for a few seconds at a time because of its high vibrations frequency rates. See these black, brown parts, they're the oldest in the organism itself. And those are the things that break off and fly around, aside from the white orbs. Back up a little bit to show where that is. Okay, you see that whole area there? Move that around. See how many there are there? That's one big cluster. That whole part there is one big cluster. It's spread all over. just because there's too many trees and things in the way that I can't see it everywhere, but that whole pile is just them. The green part too that looks like leaves, that's them too. Or that's it too. It's the same organism. To a different spot. See all the fibers it's spreading out? It's making a network, a fiber network. It's worse than the internet. It's more viral than the internet. Just keep watching those fibers being made and how it hooks up and then breaks off and hooks up and breaks off. Every time it does that, it makes more of itself. That's what that is. can't stand very still for very long. It has to move. Okay, so that gives you an idea how this thing operates and what it does and how it fibers out. Just keep watching that brown, dark brown part expanding. I'll cover the whole screen because it's going to cover up what's underneath. I see how it expanded over most of the screen. From both sides, it's coming in from the left and from the right, and going from the top down. So just keep watching it fiber out. It's going to fiber out till it covers the whole screen. If I stayed here long enough and had the camera on it, it would cover the entire screen. As it is, it's connected from left to right over the top. There it goes. View of that idea. Because it had to move. So these are all very smart pieces of a very smart big organism, a huge organism. All these pieces, they're smart. And the whole thing is super smart. show where that is. Oh, look at the size of that thing. It's holding those trees, but there's the big pile, and another big pile right there, and another big pile over here. And that's where the concentration is the greatest. And this is where it's the hottest right there. Right in there. That's the nucleus of one of the clusters. Right there where that very bright white spot is in the middle of the screen. That's like the nucleus. And the whole thing is actually the nucleus, but that's the center of it. Right there. And look at the big black things. Right there. See the black ones in action right there, how they're firing out. See how they make fibers right there? And connecting and just producing more fibers really, and expanding the organism. And that's the way they do it. A little at a time, but steady. Look, you see the fibers right there? Look at the fibers right there. See those two lines on the left in the middle? Those are fibers. Okay, so that's how it shoots out the fibers, and then it drags itself over more and more. It's not going to film it. Okay. And those are not branches, they're fibers. Because that's no longer a tree. Okay, those are not branches any longer. They're fibers. Maybe the green part, it's supposed to be leaves. Okay, what they're doing now is spinning around real fast those small particles, so they're going to create a blur, because they didn't want me to see that. So I'll just move it over, catch them over here. Let's see. There's plenty of places where I can catch something else. And I created a blur all over that area. See, that's the trouble when it's a large cluster. It can just do a whole big area in there. See that? Now they're going to blur this part out. So I have to keep moving the camera. Till I catch them where they're not ready. I went up too high. I'm gonna go back. That's where they're just energy right there. They're in the air, and those white things, they're just energy. See? That's just energy. They can take on just energy form. Well, see that one should by? They're just in energy form, those white ones especially. They're just pure energy. See, yours shoot by every now and then. They're in energy form too. They weigh nothing. They're light. I'm down there low, and there's no sun there, really. But you can see they're all over the tree, and they're glowing. Look, all over the tree. That's where the cluster is, right there. All over that tree. I'll get the whole thing in. And there's the whole cluster. that's active right now. The whole thing is a cluster, but that's the active parts of it now. That's a big orb. It's the dynamo for the cluster right there. Get all that energy. Okay, I think I filmed enough of them in the trees. I'm gonna stop this video now. Thanks for viewing.